Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Fani Willis and Joe Biden have similar strategies when it comes to attempting to win re-election in 2024. They both are refusing to debate. Very interesting. I wonder why they would refuse to debate. Maybe because the things that they do are indefensible. Their actions are very suspect, and they don't want to be confronted by people challenging them. But Fani Willis, and wow, I haven't really talked about Fani Willis in a while, ever since the evidentiary hearing against her, where we all thought that she was going to be disqualified because she perjured herself on stand. She lied about her relationship with the special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. And then the judge made a strange ruling where he said one of them, either Nathan Wade or Fani Willis, must recuse themselves from the case, which essentially meant that Nathan Wade was going to recuse himself because everyone knew that Fani Willis would never, the biggest Fanny in Georgia, shout out to Robert Guevara, the biggest Fanny in Georgia would never recuse herself from this case because, you know, Fani Willis, she's after law and justice, and she's after the bad man, Donald Trump, who is trying to subvert our democracy. Yes, she had a goal in mind, and, you know, she was a black woman going after the evil white man, or the evil orange man. You know what? That's probably the biggest minority of them all. There's not a whole lot of orange people. So was a majority going after a minority, the orange people? Wow, we got to get this to the press right away. But Fani Willis, yes, she skipped Fulton County's DA debate. The district attorney, or the individual, the attorney who was challenging Fani Willis, showed up to the debate. You see him right here. And if you look, it's an empty podium. There is no Big Fanny standing at the empty podium. But let's hear about this.
Let's meet the candidates. Christian Y. Smith is an author and attorney. Fani Willis has served as Fulton County District Attorney since 2021. Ms. Willis declined to participate in the debate and is represented by an empty podium.
So that's very interesting. Ironically, the empty podium probably would have done a better job at debating than Fani Willis, and maybe that's part of her strategy. Maybe she knows that. Maybe she knows that she's an airhead who shouldn't be practicing law, much less going after a former president of the United States. But as a little bonus for you guys, before I get into kind of the context surrounding Christian Y. Smith and this situation with Fani Willis, where she was instead of at the debate, I want to show you this. Laura Loomer actually confronted Fani Willis in Miami, Florida. And guys, this is just absolute gold. Watch this.
Hey, Fani, how come you haven't complied with the Judiciary Committee's request for your communications with the January 6th committee? Did Joe Biden promise you a position at the DOJ during his second administration?
Is that Nathan Wade? That's Nathan Wade.
Are you going to be ordering Grey Goose tonight, paying in cash? You say that Donald Trump is violating the law, but you haven't even sent your communications with the J6 committee that was requested by the Judiciary Committee.
Yeah, so Fani Willis, of course, is refusing to comply with the congressional subpoena that Jim Jordan sent her to review documents where some people from her office were using money that was supposed to be allocated for, community things for what were they? Laptops, MacBooks, travel, and swag. And this is what Laura Loomer is confronting her over. But let's get into this whole situation where Fani Willis is under fire for mysteriously skipping the Fulton County DA debate, leaving challenger awkwardly talking to an empty podium. This is a Daily Mail article, and it says, scandal plagued Fulton County District Attorney. Fani Willis was nowhere to be seen Sunday during the first Democratic Party debate as she tries to win re-election. Willis has courted controversy while prosecuting the county's election interference case against Donald Trump. As it was revealed, she had a past relationship with special prosecutor Nathan Wade. Her conduct was examined during a series of sensational hearings with Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee, ultimately slamming her for a tremendous lapse in judgment and for acting in an unprofessional manner. But notice, guys, remember, she's still on this case. Yes, even though I guess one of the most damning things that Scott McAfee said about this case and what this trial going on against Donald Trump is that there remains an order of mendacity. Yet for some reason, he allows the lead prosecutor, the district attorney, to continue to lead the case against Donald Trump. And this ruling that he made, of course, you guys all saw it. He gave them a choice. It's either Nathan Wade or Fani Willis. One of you guys are going to have to get off the case. And that's not even a choice. Fani Willis would never have left the case. We all knew that. So it was essentially saying Nathan Wade had to leave. Even though Fani Willis, the DA, the one that runs this, she had some serious lapses in judgment, obviously. I mean, perjuring herself, lying about her relationship, conflicts of interest. It seems like all these Democrats going after Donald Trump just has this big slew of conflicts of interest that are just overlooked. I mean, look at Judge Merchan in this hush money case in New York. I mean, it's just insane. This would never be able to fly if it was a Republican judge. But she escaped with just a slap on the wrist, however, after McAfee dramatically ruled that she could stay on the Trump election interference case if Wade removed himself. You know, I love that they're reporting it this way, because that was essentially going to be the end result in any scenario, right? So I love that they reported that way. But on Sunday, she skipped out on the party's first primary debate, leaving opponent Christian Wise Smith speaking to an empty podium. And here is Christian Smith right here with his hand pointing to the empty podium. And here is Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. Willis instead, now where was Willis? She instead chose to co-host an annual self-care fair. Oh yes, because she's been attacked for being a black woman for months as they held this evidentiary hearing, airing her dirty laundry to the public. And she had to co-host a self-care fair to talk about how she has been personally attacked for being a black female and how it hurt her feelings for these, evil white people to go after her for obvious conflicts of interest against a ex-president of the United States. But she chose to go to this self-care fair for crime victims despite early voting beginning Monday. Smith hammered Willis's decision to hire Wade on the Trump prosecution. And this is what he said. That issue is important to us in Fulton County and a lot of people across the country. But you have to do things differently, he said during the debate. When you pay one attorney nearly $1 million to handle one case, that leaves the rest of us vulnerable. That hurts everyone in Fulton County. Smith is no doubt hoping the no-show will help his chances, as a Fox 5 Atlanta poll shows Willis still dominating the race by 70 points. And that there, you can see clearly. She's dominating by 70 points. No matter how much of a crackpot you think Willis is, and I think she's a crackpot as well. She's not a serious person. She has a lot of power, unfortunately. But she has a lot of popularity. Now you see here why this judge ultimately ruled the way he did. He knew he couldn't just let them get away with it scot-free. He had to punish them in some way or another. But at the same time, he knew he couldn't take Fani Willis off of the case because that would put into jeopardy his chances to be reelected as judge. And this is why it's dangerous for judges to be involved in politics. And I don't know if there's anything that we really can do about it, but it shows you the dangers of politics getting into the courtroom and judges having to rule on these things that they know are going to hurt their chances for re-election in the future. And I believe wholeheartedly that this is why he ruled the way he did, because right here, even as much as Willis did, she sullied, the good name of the justice system. I don't know if there was even a good name, because for the past several years, the justice system has gone after Donald Trump and their name has already been sullied. But she's still up by 70 points. She's dominating the race by 70 points. But Wade fronted the team of lawyers Willis assembled to prosecute the case, since the previous president and 18 others were indicted in August. But the relationship led to concerns the couple could pursue financial gain through the proceedings. Willis, who is 53 years old, has said she's not embarrassed by the relationship and that efforts to, quote, slow down the progress of the case against Donald Trump by his defense team have been unsuccessful. So she's not embarrassed. We're not asking for embarrassment. We're asking for fairness. And when you have a relationship with your special prosecutor, before you ever even indicted Donald Trump, that throws everything into question, even more so than it already has been. She said, quote, I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. Let's say it for the record. I'm not embarrassed by anything I've done. She told that to CNN. I guess my greatest crime is that I had a relationship with a man, but that's not something that I find embarrassing in any way. I know that I have not done anything that is illegal. See, these people, they don't respect the office. Her office has a ton of power, and that's why there are rules against these types of things. And instead of following the rules, she flaunts them. She's not embarrassed. She says so herself. She's not embarrassed by what she did. She doesn't care. Someone like this should not be in her position. Someone who has a position of power that has a lot of consequence over what happens to others. But referring to 2 months of hearings and court action over her romantic relationship, she added, while that was going on, we were writing responsive briefs. We were still doing the case in a way that it needed to be done. I don't feel like we've been slowed down at all. I do think there are efforts to slow down this train, but the train is coming. Oh yeah, the train is coming, Fani Willis, and you're on the tracks. But her latest comments come as defense attorneys continue to press claims about her handling of a sprawling prosecution against the former president and current GOP presumptive nominee. Trump faces 4 felony indictments, including separate federal and state cases, for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election that he lost to President Joe Biden. His team has fought to delay and dismiss the cases, arguing that political opponents are wrongfully targeting him. Defense attorneys have alleged Willis hired Wade to profit from the Trump prosecution through their romantic relationship. Look, it's kind of obvious to see Nathan Wade was being paid top dollar for his role in prosecuting Donald Trump, even though he had zero. And when I say zero, I mean zero experience in RICO cases, zero whatsoever. But he was making top dollar. It made no sense. And Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee said that there wasn't sufficient evidence to prove those claims, but rebuked Willis for what he called a tremendous lapse in judgment. Anthony Michael Crease, a Georgia State University law professor who's been following the case, criticized her comments in a post on X, and he said, if I were Fani Willis, I would simply not talk to the media at all at this point, just out of an abundance of caution. In a 23-page ruling, Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee slammed Willis for a tremendous lapse in judgment and for acting in an unprofessional manner, but said she could stay on the case if Wade stepped down, or if Wade could stay if she stepped down. But we already covered that. He reasoned that not enough evidence had been shown to establish her romantic relationship with Wade amounted to an actual conflict of interest. And also, he was afraid for his re-election chances. It's obvious, 70 points. He knows Fani Willis is popular in a largely black area. White judge, you got to be careful. And, Scott McAfee, he knows this. He's no dummy. Trump's lawyer slammed the decision to let Willis stay on the case and said they would pursue all legal options in a response. At a rally in Greensboro, North Carolina, earlier in March, Trump went after Wade, seizing on his lack of experience prosecuting crimes in Atlanta before being tapped to lead the election interference case, saying, quote, he never did that before, but he did the other things before that he did with Fanny. He did plenty of that, referring to their romantic relationship. And that's what he's good at, I guess, Trump said, as the crowd laughed. Yeah, I guess we can all give Nathan Wade credit for being good at that thing. But what do you guys think of this? What do you think of Fani Willis refusing to debate this challenger for the DA spot in Fulton County? Do you think that she's afraid? Do you think that she can't defend her record and, the things that she has done, specifically in this election interference case against Donald Trump? Or do you think that she is playing it safe and smart by not showing up? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.